Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that takes power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're going to be talking about the spell Project Image. It's a 7th level spell that is usable by bards and wizards. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, what are we going to be giving this? Not an A-. We are going to be giving this a B+. I do like this spell a lot, although my one biggest giant beef with this is that they changed one aspect of this spell massively from 1st and 3rd edition to 5th edition. And the overall objective of the spell changed because they changed that aspect. But let's get into the spell first. So it's a 7th level spell, usable by bards and wizards. It takes one action, has a range of 500 miles. Verbal somatic material component, which does cost some money, 5 gold pieces, so you are going to have to pony that up. It lasts for a day, which is great. So you create an illusory copy of yourself that lasts for the duration, which is 1 day. The copy can appear in any location within range, 500 miles, that you have seen before. So you have to have seen it before, but it doesn't say how. So you could scry to see that area. Regardless of intervening obstacles, the illusion looks and sounds like you, but is intangible, meaning things pass through it, or it can pass through things. If the illusion takes any damage, it disappears and the spell ends. You can use your action to move the illusion up to twice your speed, which is great. You can make a gesture, speak, behave, whatever you choose. It mimics your mannerisms perfectly. You can see through its ears and hear, or see through its eyes and hear through its ears, as if you were in its place. On your turn as a bonus action, you can switch back and forth between you and the thing. So while you're using its sensors, you're blinded and deafened, so you are unresponsive to your area. Physical interactions with the image reveal it to be an illusion because things can pass through it, or it can pass through things. I'm going to add that because we're going to talk about that. A creature that uses its action to examine the image can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell DC. And at this level, your spell DC should be around a 19 or 20. And that's a really hard check to make for most creatures because most creatures don't have great intelligence and they're definitely not trained in investigation. If a creature discerns the illusion for what it is, they can see through the image, and the noise it makes sounds hollow. Okay, so let's talk about some pros and cons of this spell. It's got a range of 500 miles. That's a pro. You can see through its eyes and hear through its ears. That's a pro. You can move it up to twice your speed with an action. That's a pro. Lasts for a day. That's a pro. Objects move through it because it's intangible, but that also means that you can move it through objects like walls and doors into buildings. That's the big thing. It's an intelligence investigation versus your spell DC, and you can switch your senses. All those things are pros. And what I think that the main objective of this spell is now is that it is a complete reconnaissance spell. DMs, take note, you can also use this spell to use it for recon for a big bad guy against your players. That would be my motivation to do this. It is a spell that, that I think goes well with scrying spells. So scry, clairvoyance, things like that, where you can scry first. You just need to know something about the scry, but not everything. And then once you've scried on it, you've seen it, and that triggers the copy can appear at any location within range that you have seen before. And 500 miles is a really long range. So once you've seen it, you don't have to have been there. You just have to have seen it through like a scrying or something like that. Then you can cast the spell and move your image there. Now, some cons. If it takes any damage, it's destroyed. So if somebody discovers it's an illusion, they just punch it and it's gone. Why does it cost 5 gold pieces? I don't understand. It's a 7th level spell. I know that from past editions. It did require a replica. I'm not sure why it costs 5 gold pieces. It's kind of worthless for 13th level characters to come up with. I just don't see the point in that. I also kind of don't like that they changed the objective of this spell from the objective that it was from first and third editions. There is this particular aspect of this spell from first and third editions that is completely wiped out from this spell. The range was made a lot longer to make it a really good reconnaissance spell, but I don't necessarily think that the first and third edition spells were recon spells. Let's take a look at those real quick. So I've got those up. Here is the first edition project image from the 1978 Player's Handbook. It was a 6th level spell at that time. It had a range of 1 inch per level, which essentially is 10 feet per level. Lasted for a round per level. And by means of the spell, magic user creates a non-material duplicate of himself or herself, projecting it to any spot within range which is desired. The image performs actions identical to the magic user, walking, speaking, and spell casting, as the magic user determines. A special channel exists between the image of the magic user and the actual magic, between the image of the magic user and the actual magic user. So spells cast actually originate from the image. The image can be dispelled only by means of a dispel magic, and attacks do not affect it. The image must be within view of the magic user projecting it at all times, and if his or her sight is obstructed, the spell is broken. So that's a big difference. And then you needed a dial, which is the same thing. They carried that over. So what they didn't carry over is the fact that you could cast spells out of the image. What did... And also what did not carry over is that in this version of the spell, the magic user had to be able to see it. Magic user meaning wizard, had to be able to see it at all times. So those are some big changes, but the big one is the casting of spells from the image. Now let's look at the third edition spell. So again, it was a 6th level spell usable by bards, sorcerers, and wizards. It had a range of 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. It lasted for around a level. You create a shadow duplicate of yourself. Looks, sounds, and smells like you, but is intangible. The shadow mimics your actions, including speech. You can see through its eyes and hear through its ears as if you were standing where it is. And during your turn in a round, you can switch from seeing through its eyes to seeing normally and back again. If you desire, any spell you cast whose range is touch or greater can originate from the shadow instead of you. The shadow is quasi-real, just real enough to cast spells that you originate. The shadow can cast spells on itself only if those spells affect shadows. You must maintain line of effect to the shadow at all times. If your line of effect is obstructed, the spell ends. If you use Dimension Door, Teleport, Plane Shift, or similar spell that breaks your line of effect, even momentarily the spell ends. And then it's the dial. So again, you can see through it, but you have to maintain a line of effect, which means it can't be completely blocked. I don't know why they did that. You can also maintain line of sight. Those in 3rd edition were basically the same things. So there is that spell. I mean, there's different aspects of it that have changed over time. 5th edition does not allow you to cast spells through the image anymore, but it has a massive range, and it is a great, massive, awesome recon spell. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.